You have heard it before. A leader's sin becomes a leading sin. After all, it's a leader. If he is doing that and is still preaching, if he can do that and is still ministering, if he is doing that and he still has the label of a leader, well, that means that we can do it too. A leader's sin is a leading sin. A pastor's sin, some becomes a pervasive sin. That all the others that see that, the pastor is doing that. The pastor is going that way. The pastor is having a concubine. The pastor is marrying his second wife, and the first wife is still alive. The pastor is becoming fraudulent, and the pastor is doing this and that. A pastor's sin, some becomes a pervasive sin. A minister's sin is a misleading sin. It misleads other people. They are not reading their Bible, they're reading you. They are not reading the word of God, they're reading the watchmen. They're reading the people who are declaring the word of God unto them. Are you a minister like that? Are you a pastor like that? Are you a leader like that? That you are not careful in your life, and you are not dedicated to the word of God. You are careless. You are backsliding. You do evil. You go places ministers should not go. A minister's sin is a misleading sin, and a shepherd's sin quickly becomes a shielded sin. They so respect him as shepherd. All the other people who are preaching, they don't go to that area. They shield that sin. It's a shepherd's sin. The shepherd is doing that. If we say that, if we preach that, he will think we're preaching against him. We love him to his destruction. We respect him to his damnation. And we will cover him, and we will not say anything that will make people remember that this is the shepherd's sin. So they shield that, and then that affects the whole congregation. Our fathers in the family, our mothers in the family must understand that their children are watching them. They see what they do. They see what the father does when the mother is not around. They see what the mother does when the father is not around. And if a father who claims to be a Christian indulges in any evil, indulges in any sin in the family, a father's sin becomes a festering sin. It will become like canker, and it will eat into the lives of the children. The mother too that lives a careless life, the mother too that lives a sinful life, the mother too that has false worship and false profession and has sin in her life. A mother's sin ultimately becomes a molding sin. It will be molding the lives of those children and the lives of the people who are living with that family. A mother's sin becomes ultimately a molding sin. Eventually, the idolatry, eventually the corruption that came into Israel became open. Everybody did it. It became a naked sin, open before all and known unto all, and there was nobody to check anyone, and life went on as usual. A naked sin soon becomes a nurtured sin. They nurse it like a baby, and they protect it like a baby. It's a naked sin, and they now cherish it. A naked sin becomes a nurtured sin. A little sin that comes in into the congregation becomes like a licensed sin. It's a little sin. Go ahead. It's a little sin. Nobody is going to grumble at this. It's a little sin. Nobody is going to say that, you know what, we have some little buts in our lives. And that little sin becomes a licensed sin. And the people that come in, whether they are workers or they are members, and they see that this is going on, it's like they have a license. That little sin has become a licensed sin. Actually, an open sin becomes an operative sin. An open sin, when it started, you were shocked. When people did that the first time, you were shocked. But the people who commit those open sins, they continue. It's like many, many years ago, if you saw somebody taking bribe, the fellow himself taking that bribe will try to hide. But later, they did it, and did it, and did it, until they operate that way. It's part of the operation now. An open sin becomes an operative sin. Corruption is evil. It ends in eternal destruction, eternal devastation, eternal damnation. That's why the Lord is warning us that we should not be involved in the corruption. Who is on the Lord's side? Let him come unto me. Hosea chapter 9. I'm reading from verse 9. Hosea chapter 9, verse 9. They have deeply corrupted themselves, not just superficially. It entered their heart. It entered their soul. It came into their character. It's now part of their lifestyle. They have deeply corrupted themselves, as in the days of Gibeah. Therefore, he will remember their iniquity, and he will visit their sin.